Hey guys, it's been a really long day. I am cooking dinner right now. I'm also got done editing all the audio clips. I need to now rearrange it and find background music and visuals. It's gonna take a long time. I might post a snippet of just the audio up on the end of this video so I'll have a longer video because I am super busy right now. I want to get this done as soon as possible. It's Friday. I said I would get it done today. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done today. It's already 7:16, but knock on wood, we'll see. Today was just a really busy day. I had work in the morning, had to do some stuff, but I never really had a chance to do anything else besides that. So today's video is probably gonna be pretty boring. Besides maybe the snippet at the end that I put of the video coming out. But I hope all of you had a great day. I will see all of you guys a little later today when I'm done cooking dinner. I guess I can show you guys what I cooked and. Yeah, it's also like pouring down rain again. There were some flash flood warnings again in Hawaii. It is not, it's pretty funny, but it's raining hard. But I'll see all of you guys a little later.
The city where God has no jurisdiction. This is later. This is after everything has already happened. The murders didn't make sense, and that's what frightened people the most. If there was a pattern, people could turn it into folklore, into something with borders. They could pick the right neighborhood to avoid, the right kind of lock to buy, the right hour to stay awake. It was a comforting lie, the idea that if you were careful enough, you were untouchable. They needed to believe that caution was control. Yet the blood trail didn't follow a map. It was a jagged, senseless path that proved he wasn't looking for a type. He was just looking for an open window, an opportunity to blend with silence. A retired couple in a quiet suburb where the streets curved like they'd been designed to slow down trouble. A single man in an apartment across town where sirens were common enough to be ignored. A mother and her teenage son in a house that still had a wreath on the door from the holiday before last. Different lives, different routines, same end. A bedroom, a body, no sign of struggle, no clear entry point. Neighbors always said the same thing. They stood on their lawns with narrow, needle-thin expressions, their damp eyes blinking in a rhythmic, terrifying unison. The silence had been absolute. No screaming, no impact, only the hungry quiet that follows a feast. The department avoided using the word serial. They said unrelated incidents, active investigation. They said it like a prayer, like the right phrasing could keep the idea from hardening into fact. But the words still seeped into message boards, into the way people began touching their window latches twice before bed. Then, a man survived. Not from luck. Not because he was spared. Because he fought back so hard that the thing in his room decided the noise wasn't worth it. Setting the scene. A hospital room. This man is a stranger, mid-30s construction worker, no connection to the killer whatsoever. He has a broken orbital bone, 3 cracked ribs, lacerations on his left forearm. His hand shake even now. The adrenaline, the doctor said, still working its way out. I woke up because something was wrong with the air, he told the detective. I can't explain it better than that. The room felt different, like something was using up the oxygen. His eyes stayed on his hands while he spoke. I looked at the window, it was open. I always keep it locked. I check it before bed. I always check that window, but this time it was open. There was something standing in the corner next to the dresser, not moving, just standing, like he'd been there a long time already. His face was white, not pale white, like snow white. It was bleached or something. And his mouth, man stopped, swallowed. His mouth was wrong. It was too wide, cuts on the sides of his cheeks, old ones that have healed that way, like the smile had been made permanent on purpose. He saw me awake, and he said 3 words that still chill me to the bone. He said, "Go to sleep." Then he rushed at me and put his hands on my throat. What happened next was not quiet. It was the ugly, panicked, animal thing that happens when a body decides it's not done yet. The survivor's thumb sank into the attacker's eye socket. A last-ditch effort for survival. The man recoiled, but there was no scream. Only a low, guttural vibration. The survivor lunged for the door, clipping the nightstand and sending the lamp into a chaotic spin across the floor. He never made the second step. The attacker bridged the gap in a heartbeat. A fistful of Calder dragged him backward, and the momentum didn't stop until the drywall shattered behind him. Held there, pinned against the broken wall, survivor realized the most terrifying part. Despite the thumb in the eye, the white-faced man was still staring. He bit down on the attacker's forearm. There was no thought, no strategy, just teeth. A primal, suffocating desperation. He felt the skin give, something beneath it tearing with a sickening wet resistance. The white-faced man made a sound. It wasn't a scream of pain. It was a sharp, hissing intake of breath, an expression of pure offense. It was as if the very act of fighting back was an insult to the nightmare he was trying to create. In that heartbeat of hesitation, the survivor wrenched himself free. He didn't look back. He lunged across the hall, bare feet skidding on the hardwood, and threw himself in the bathroom. He slammed the door just as a pale hand caught the edge of the frame. The wood groaned, but the bolt clicked home, a thin, pathetic piece of metal that felt like a fortress in the dark. He backed away, chest heavying, staring at the door handle. It didn't jiggle, it didn't turn. Then he heard it. A soft, rhythmic scrape against the window in the bedroom he had just fled. A light thud of footsteps on the porch roof. Quick, measured, almost casual. Then the heavy ringing silence of the night returned. He was gone. The survivor was left with a single, inexplicable white smear across his shoulder. When the lab results came back, the lead detective didn't have answers, only more questions. It was a volatile cocktail of industrial-grade bleach and organic matter. Degraded skin cells and trace proteins consisted with severe chemical scarring. DNA was a dead end, no match in the federal database, no criminal record, no digital footprint. Somewhere out there was a man with a fresh bite mark on his forearm and a face that didn't exist on file, and a window left open in a house where windows were always locked. Chapter 1. The Rooms That Stayed Quiet. Still later, a detective named Calder is trying to understand what you're about to see. His first scene was a child's bedroom with a nightlight still glowing, the kind of light a parent bought to keep monsters away. The sheets were ruffled with a clinical indifference, as if the occupant had been repositioned like furniture. The body arranged with a stillness that felt intentional, a quiet more disturbing than any scream. The atmosphere was thick with scalded detergent and old, sour breath. The scent of a room that had digested its own inhabitants. No furniture overturned, no frantic marks carved into wood, just the smooth, hollow evidence of a death that had arrived without an invitation to struggle. Calder didn't talk much while he looked. He learned to keep his voice out of rooms like this. Words bounced off surfaces and came back wrong. No forced entry, no broken window. The window was latched but not locked. An honest mistake, the type of mistake kind people made in safe neighborhoods where they believed safety was a property of geography. The vacuum lines on the carpet died near the wall, flattened by heavy, motionless pressure. The slow sinking fossils of someone who stood in that corner for a long time, waited, as if the waiting itself was a part of it. In the hallway, the mother sat on the stairs with a blanket around her shoulders like a cloak. "I didn't hear him," she kept saying. "I didn't hear anything, and I was right in the room beside him." Calder believed her. That was a nauseating core of it. The second scene was an apartment across town. Thin walls. Neighbors close to hear arguments, television, and laughter. Calder walked in expecting noise. Instead, the same quiet. The same scalded chemical smell, a window left carefully unlatched, dust on the sill with a single purposeful smear, no ridges, no whorls, just the vacuum of a palm that had pressed itself flat against the ledge, testing the weight. Someone who moved through windows the way most people move through doors. Calder's partner, Ramirez, said it quietly in the hallway. "It's like he's already inside before anyone knows he's there." That night, Calder sits alone at his desk. He wrote 2 words in his notebook and circled them until the paper nearly tore. Already inside. The letter arrived 4 days later. No return address, postmarked for the very address where the blood was still being scrubbed off the floorboards. The envelope sterile. No prints, no DNA on the seal, just a cold paper void. Inside, the handwriting was vertical and hauntingly even, as if the writer had practiced until every trace of human personality had been bled out of the ink. Detective Calder read it twice. He pulled the case files, his hand steady as he cross-referenced 3 specific details mentioned in the text, details buried deep in the redacted reports. The exact brand of the child's nightlight, the unnatural angle of the victim's hand, the direction of the vacuum lines in the carpet where the struggle began. All 3 were perfect. This wasn't a fan letter or a hoax. This was the source. Letter 1. To who it may concern. Where does the orange glow go when the child stops needing it? I watched that nightlight halo for a long time. Most people curl inward at the end. They hide. But this one kept the left hand open, reaching. I thought about that until the skin grew cold. You are walking my vacuum lines, but your math is wrong. I stood there longer than you can imagine. Patience isn't a skill I learned. It's the skin I wear. You hunt for a man afraid of being found. I am a man who has forgotten how to fear. That is the riddle you haven't solved yet. Go to sleep. Rooms are always quietest in the morning. J.